Awesome. And this is finally our last candidate conversation. Just to apologize for the slight delay, we just had network issues. But that out of the way, I'm really excited about the engagement that we are going to have with our candidate tonight. She's a lovely woman, lovely young woman, very bubbly. She talks a lot. She talks a lot, and I think she's going to give us a lot of information about the journey that she's had. Luckily, I had few conversations with her during the course of the week. There is a lot. There is a lot that she shares, and I believe that she's going to share a lot of motivation with us as well. Just to take us back where we come from the beginning of the programs that we've had. We started with these candidate conversations. The aim of it just to inspire, encourage all of us in this journey of becoming chartered accountants. I just want to thank everybody that has participated in it, whether watching and hosting. And so now we have come to the last session, and I think we are still going to enjoy this one. Without any further ado, I just want to introduce our guest tonight, Mayekiso Unati. Unati, hello, are you there? How are you?
Hi, Sizwe. Hi, everyone. I'm here. I'm very well, thanks. I hope that everyone is well.
Yes, we are okay. If you can please share your video with us.
Is it not on?
Yes, yes, there you are. Now I can see you.
Okay.
Now I can see you. Are you
Hi,
well?
everyone.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm well, thank you. How are you guys?
We are okay. I'm just happy to see you, and you're looking lovely. And
thank you.
Yes, just maybe to begin things with, please tell us of who Unati is at a personal level, so that we can get to know who you are.
Okay. So my name is Unati. I grew up in a small town in the Free State. The name of the town is Welkom. I am one of 4 siblings, or rather one of 4 children. So I have 3 siblings. I have an older sister and a younger brother, as well as a younger sister. As Sizwe mentioned, I talk a lot. I'm very passionate and energetic. I'm always down to have a good time. I am now currently an assistant audit manager at SNG Grant Thornton, which was formerly Sizwe and Saluba Kopodo. I work in the Pretoria office. Yeah, does that cover it, or do we need a bit more?
Yes. What do you love doing during your spare time?
So in my spare time, I spend a lot of time with my friends. I spend time with my family, my siblings. They're very important to me. So as often as I can see my family, I try to see my family. When I'm with my friends, we do things like going hiking and we travel. I like seeing different places. So if there's a road trip, I'm usually always game. I always want to see new places. So yeah, that's basically it.
All right, that is lovely. You start your journey in primary school. It was a different kind of a school when you started off. Please tell us about that journey.
So I started school at St. Andrews, which is a regular South African curriculum school, but a private school. And from there, I moved to a school called Kingdom Academy, which is based on Christian. It's an American Christian education system. They call it ACE, so Accelerated Christian Education. The syllabus and the curriculum comes from America. So where people in grade 8 here in South Africa were doing subjects like HSS and natural science, I was doing subjects like etymology and history. I didn't really have exposure to the subjects that are in the South African high school curriculum while I was there. I then left that school to be in school with my sister for the last time. My sister was in matric in that year and she was in a public school. So I asked my parents if I could please leave and just be in that public school so that I could be with my sister in school for the last time, because we had always been in the same school together. And my parents agreed, but the school was very reluctant to take me on because the syllabus was completely different. And they said that I wouldn't adjust and that I would battle and I would probably fail. And in July, they finally then agreed to take me in. So I went to the school in July. And now I'm confronted with these new subjects that I've never seen before. I've never ever done EMS. I'm sitting in a class with people that are talking about accounting, and they're talking debit, credit, and CRJs and CPJs that I know nothing about. And we started writing our term tests. And after writing the first term test for EMS, I got zero, like zero, nothing. I got 0%. And
so you said for the whole paper, you wrote for a couple of hours and you still managed to get zero.
Yeah, I did. I sat and I wrote, and I wrote with a genuine belief that I understood what I was doing, and I got zero. And they called my mom into the principal's office, and they explained, and they're like, "This is what we were afraid of. This is why we didn't want to take her on. Look, she's battling. She's not going to be able to cope." And my high school teacher, Ms. DeVette, she was there with me, and she said that what they would do is that they would put me in like a tutoring class situation for a month, and they would monitor my progress. And so I used to sit after school with Ms. DeVette, and she would go through everything with me, from recording an invoice in the CPJ, from the CPJ, taking it to the GL, from the GL to the trial balance, and then talking about whatever adjustments would need to be processed. And that was like literally my everyday, going from sales journals to sales returns journals to debtors ledgers, everything. And after 1 month, she made me write another test. And lo and behold, I got 94% for the test. I literally went from 0% in 1 month to getting 94%. Ms. DeVette couldn't believe it. And she just kept saying that as she was sitting with me in the classes, she could see that this accounting thing is something that sort of comes naturally to me. It's just, it's understandable. I mean, I didn't have the grade 8 foundation that everybody else had because I was doing other things while people were doing EMS. And then throughout my high school career, when I got to grade 10, my parents asked me now, so what subjects do you want to take? What do you want to do when you go to varsity? And I said to my dad, I think I want to be a psychiatrist. And he said to me, but why do you want to sit and listen to other people's problems? I said, I enjoy talking to people. And yes.
Just as when you were failing accounting, you hadn't then made the decision that you want to become an accountant?
No, not yet. No,
okay.
Not yet. Yeah. So the decision came after the conversation I had with my dad. And he said that I should consider something outside of psychiatry, which is what I wanted to do. And then, so for those of the people that don't know, my first name is Nonkululeko. And so my dad started to tell me about Nonkululeko Gobodo being the first Black female chartered accountant. And he was saying that there's not enough Black people in this career field. I should really consider going down this path, especially if he's looking at the radical improvement that I had in my EMS, but EMS specifically focused on the accounting element. And so I applied to university after taking my grade 10 subjects was accounting, business, and economics. And I applied to university. I applied for accounting and BCom law. I was accepted for both, but then I ended up choosing accounting purely because throughout my high school journey, I found that I was really acing accounting. And I loved the fact that I was so good at it. It was effortless. I would get 70s and 80s without even studying. Like I would cry if I had less than 70% for accounting in high school. So I was like, this is my thing, so I'm gonna study this. And
so besides you having that desire of becoming a psychiatrist or a lawyer, you still now finally reached to an idea that you really want to become a chartered accountant.
Yes, because it just came naturally.
Yes, all right. No, so I was about to ask Uti, was it not dominant that your father suggested it to you, or you also fell in love with it, and there's other things that influenced you to say, I want to become a chartered accountant?
It's a large combination of both. Obviously, I respect my father's opinion, and I looked up to him, and everything that he said, it mattered to me, and it weighed in heavily on the decisions that I made, also knowing that he's older and he's seen it all. So
Yeah.
it was a large combination of the fact that this is what my father wanted me to do, as well as the fact that I could see that for me, it's coming naturally, and I'm enjoying the fact that it comes naturally.
Yes. So now you are actually in your undergraduate degree. How's the experience?
It was life-changing. I registered for BAC, which is BComp at other universities, and they started teaching us the theory of an asset, the definition of an asset, the definition of a liability, which is completely different to the definitions that I knew in high school. And now it's a whole different type of accounting. The accounting that I knew was just numbers, and now people are throwing words and things at me, and it was a lot of pressure, and I wasn't performing very well in my tests. I mean, I was getting 40s and 50s. This is somebody who used to cry after if I didn't get a 70%, and now I'm in varsity and I'm getting 40s and 50s, and I don't understand what's going on. And so I decided to drop from the mainstream CA accounting, and I went and I did BCom accounting, telling myself that it's just an extra year where I have to do an honors before I can bridge into doing CTA. And I felt like it would be a lot less pressure on me. And then I finished my first year having done BCom accounting. And then the following year, in my second year, is when I faced, I guess, the biggest challenge of my life. In 2012, in the middle of my final exams, my dad passed away. So I was writing exams, I was at home, I was at res, and my mom called me and told me that I needed to come home. So my sister and my brother-in-law at the time, they drove with me and we went back home. And while we were at home, they said that we needed to go to the hospital. So my dad was hospitalized in Kroonstad, which is about 30 minutes away from where my home was. And so we went to Kroonstad to the hospital. And when we got there, they told us that he was in a coma. So we're a praying family. So when we got there, the first thing we did was to pray. And I guess for me, the big thing was that while we were praying, we sort of laid hands on him, and my hand was on his chest. And I literally felt like the last breath leave his body. Like I don't even think that I can explain or describe how it feels. It's taken me quite a long time. I mean, he passed away in 2012 for me to get to a point where I can speak about it without getting overly emotional. I was just disillusioned, right? It's like, okay, the person that I've looked up to for the past all the years of my life has just passed away. And also at the same time, I'm in the middle of my exams. Not to say that even still, I was struggling with accounting throughout my second year. And it just so happened that after the funeral, I needed to go back to go and write accounting and economics. So I was writing accounting the following Monday, and I was writing economics later in that week. So while everyone is mourning, coming up and down into the house, bringing their condolences, I'm sitting there and I need to study. Like I just need to suck it up and I need to study, because if I don't study, I'm going to fail. And so I studied and I wrote, and by God's grace, I passed my exams and I moved on to my third year. In my third year, I struggled a lot with my accounting moving forward. Group statements was a horrible thing for me. It was a nightmare, but I still continued. And I was one of the fortunate people to finish my junior degree record time, despite the challenges that I had faced in the tenure of my junior degree. So the following year, I registered for my honors. And when I registered for my honors, that year was just, I think it was the year that it finally just sunk in that my dad had actually passed away. Because I mean, it happened when I was so busy that I had to just continue. I had to keep going. I couldn't even stop to breathe or think. And I think in the year that I did my honors is when it finally sunk in. I was seeing the varsity psychologist at the time.
Yes.
And I remember there was one morning in September, I woke up. Are you saying something? Mm-hmm.
Yes. During that honors year, are you doing it part-time? You are also working? And
no, I'm doing it full-time.
You are doing it full time. All right. All right.
Still doing it full time. And so I remember one morning in September, I woke up, it was 5 in the morning. I was supposed to go and write accounting that day. I was crying. I was living back home then because my mom moved to Bloem after my dad passed away. So I left Rez and I went back home. And I woke up and I said to my mom, I can't do this anymore. I was crying. I'm like, I don't want to do this thing anymore. I don't have the passion for it. It's difficult for me. I've come this far. I've given you the degree that you wanted, but this honors story and the CA story is just, it's not for me anymore. And my mom looked at me and she said, okay, what do you want to do? I mean, it's 5 in the morning. What do you want to do? And I said, I want to deregister. So she said it was fine. She can take me to campus and we can deregister. So I went with my mom. As I go with my mom to the campus, everyone is messaging me. They're asking me like, you're not in the exam venue. You're not in the exam venue. Like, aren't you writing? What are you doing? So I told them I'm deregistering. I can't. So after deregistering, I went home and my mom said to me, okay, so what are you going to do? You can't just sit here. So I said to her, okay, well, how about I go and work as a finance intern? So I went to go and work as a finance intern at the Free State Tourism Authority. I then worked very closely with the CFO, who then inspired me to get back into the accounting thing. I mean, when you sit there and you see it physically happening, you see people processing journals, you see people setting up financials, it looks so interesting. And I was like, yeah, but this is it. This is what I love. This is what I want to do. And
Yes.
so the following year, I registered to complete my honors, and I did that.
Yes.
I then moved to Pretoria in 2016 to start my articles at SNG. And that was, yeah, that was a circus. It's the first year that I did CTA. It's the first time that I live in a province outside of my own. It's the first time that I'm doing distance learning. I'm working and studying at the same time. The year ended and look, I failed, and it didn't even touch me. I was just like, you know what, there's so many new things that were happening. It's no wonder that I failed. I just thought, okay, I'm gonna register the following year.
Yes.
So
yes. Yes, I will want to lead you on to I'll come back to this. Lead you on to the year that now while you are doing your ITC. What was your struggle during that time that you were doing ITC?
It was actually very similar to the struggle that I faced in the first year that I did CTA, because in the year that I did ITC, I had just been promoted to manager. I had finished my articles. So now I'm an audit manager. I am now managing a client. I am managing trainees. I am approving timesheets. I have so many clients, whereas as a trainee, I was booked on one client at a time. Now I'm juggling multiple clients at a time. I have to review entire audit files, and I still need to find time to attend board course. I still need to find time to complete the tutorials. I still need to find time to also study on my own. I also still need to find time to consult. I just felt like
it was too much, eh? Yeah.
It was a lot. It was really, really, really a lot. And that's where I guess I owe it to the Endunamu team, the dedication that they showed me, and the passion and enthusiasm that they have towards their students.
Is
their
that what you
style.
loved? Is that what you loved at Endunamu?
Yes, that's what I loved. That's what I loved about Endunamu, and that's also what I owe them. Like, I guess what I give them credit for is the fact that in the midst of having a candidate whose head was all over the place, they were able to center me and get me concentrated on the fact that I needed to secure a pass. And it's the lecture style, it's the interaction, the commitment to, I mean, knowing that I can pick up my phone and WhatsApp one of the lecturers if I have an issue. It makes a huge difference, as opposed to sitting and struggling on your own and trying to figure things out.
Yeah, I'm going to be taking questions in a moment or so. Everybody can keep the questions coming. We will take them and address them to Unati. So I will start to take the questions at 6:30, and then I will direct them to you so that you can help all of us. You passed your ITC now. What do you think it added to you? What's the value of it to you? Did you start to notice changes after you've obtained ITC?
So I'll say changes on a personal level. It literally felt like there was a physical weight that somebody took off of my shoulders. Like I
Yeah.
could walk up
Yeah.
straight. I
Yes.
could walk up straight. It for me, ITC feels like that cement, because I did CTA 3 times. And I passed my ITC on my first attempt. And I feel like after passing the ITC, because you never have to go back, it's like the cement that builds the foundation of your CA journey. You think that you've already started, but you haven't started. You haven't started. This is just the beginning. This is literally just the beginning. It feels like you've been on this road for such a long time, but all you've been doing is laying the foundation. And ITC is going to be the cement that seals that foundation.
Yes. Did you start to see maybe growth at work in your career? What else did it bring to you?
For me, in terms of my career, it brought a very big level of confidence. It showed me that I can. It also helped me in terms of the decisions that I make as a manager. I mean, being an audit manager, you are in charge of a lot of things, and you can't hesitate when you make decisions. You need to make decisions, and you need to be confident that the decision that you're making is the right one. And for me, ITC boosted my confidence a lot. I can also say that it allows me to look at my work in a different way, because CTA is 5, well, at UNISA, it's 5 different modules, whereas ITC is an integration of disciplines, which is exactly what work is. It's an integration of disciplines. So it sort of just made everything more real, and it made me more confident in the role that I play in my company.
Yeah. That sounds really, really, really interesting, that it brought up confidence for you. How did it go now? Because I understand that you went on and attempted APC. How did it go? Did you get it first attempt as well?
No, I didn't. Unfortunately, my APC didn't go very well. Last year, I wrote last year in November. The results came out in February. That didn't go very well, but I've registered again to write now in December. So I'm very optimistic that it'll go well for me in December.
Yeah. What was the big challenge in there? Because I would have thought that you are drawing from the past failures of CTA, and then yeah, maybe that could have helped you. What went wrong in you not being successful in your APC? And also in the very same vein, what courage are you taking from failing ITC? Did it demotivate you, or maybe you took courage from there?
So I think what went wrong was that for me, there was a mind shift that needs to be made from ITC to APC that I wasn't really able to make. Also because that was also last year, which is still the same year that I was first time manager. So there was a lot of things that were happening, and my mind was sort of still, during the APC time, all over the place. I think that played a large role. But getting my results in February didn't discourage me. Because I've failed before, I understand that failure is a part of everybody's journey. Some people get everything straight off the bat. Other people have to fail a few times before they get something. But having failed CTA 3 times, I honestly don't think that there's any form of failure that can get me down. For me, the way that I've experienced things, I've seen what it's like to get something first time. I've seen what it's like to give up in the middle and then try again. I've also seen what it's like to fail repeatedly. And then again, I've seen what it's like to pass first time. So I've been through all the different cycles, and I just draw strength from that because I've been through that. And the fact that I've been through it, I know that I can come out on the other side. And so I know that with APC, I will come out on the other side.
Yeah, there's 2 things that they're very interesting for me. You have a situation where in the middle of exams, your father passes away, which is emotional. It's taking a toll on you, and your concentration levels, they're not at the right standards, and you still need to try and go and write and pass the exams. How did you manage to gather strength and that confidence, and really try and push yourself to say, yes, I am in this kind of a situation, but I need to pass? How did you do that?
I give all of that to my family. My family is extremely supportive of me. They listen to me when I speak. They hold me when I cry. They jump up and down with me when I'm happy. They experience all these mood swings with me. And
Yeah.
just knowing that there are people who believe in you and people that support you no matter what you do. I mean, I wanted to deregister. My mom didn't ask me, why do you want to deregister? She just said, okay, I can see it's difficult for you. Okay. And then she asked me again, after knowing that I have time to think about it, what do you want to do now? I've never felt pressure from my family to be more than who I am. And they encourage me to look deeper inside myself and sorry about that. They encourage me to look deeper inside myself and just be better than who I am, and just constantly every day try and be better. So I got my strength and my passion and motivation to continue in the midst of everything that was going on from my family.
So you didn't let that situation, even when it was huge for you, to deter you. You are also failing CTA 3 times. I mean, the first time it must have hit you hard, especially when I remember that accounting was really easy for you. You're failing CTA. It must have really hit you hard,
it's
but you still went on and
perplexing.
continued to attempt again.
I did. But in my second year, in my second attempt, I didn't handle the failure as well as what I did in the first year. I actually wanted to quit my job as well, because I felt like this is one of the reasons why I can't pass, because I've never studied and worked before. So I mean, I even wanted to quit my job, and I had my mentor at SNG sit me down, and she told me that there's no way that I'm quitting my job. I need to continue. I will pass CTA. I have to make a way. And so I just decided in 2018 to approach it differently. In my third attempt, I made sure that by test 2, I had already qualified for the exams. I made sure that I got into boot camp, which is where I actually came in contact with Ndinamu for the first time.
Yeah.
And I think it was the different approach in my third attempt, as well as having those contact sessions with Ndinamu, which is the one thing that I really missed, because when I was in UFS, whenever I would struggle, I would go to my accounting teachers, Mr. Watson, I'd go to speak to Robert. But at UNISA, there's no one to speak to. You're even lucky if somebody replies to your emails. In fact, there's absolutely nobody to speak to. And Ndinamu for me was that contact that I had been missing from when I was in my undergrad. And their lecture style was a style that I could relate to. Again, like I said before, the passion and enthusiasm that the lecturers had. I mean, I remember Fadi did our tax in boot camp, and he had this big saying of saying that when you answer a tax discussion question, you need to build it up. You need to build it up. It's like going to a concert. You're not going to bring Justin Bieber out before you bring Mendoza out, because then you brought the star of the show and now there's no more marks left. You need to start slowly. Bring Mendoza out, bring your local artists, and then at the end you bring out Justin Bieber, and that's how you secure your marks. So I mean, it's things like that that just stick with you. And while you're sitting in that exam room and you're trying to figure out what to write, you just hear the lecturers in your ear and you're like, yes, I'm nailing it. This is how it's going. I'm nailing it.
Yeah, I get you. There's just one question that is coming from Urefilwe Makau. She's saying to you, in the last couple of days before you are writing your exams, what kept you motivated? I think it's a really stressful period. Just the last couple of weeks and days before you sit in for your exams, what kept you motivated?
So we were studying in groups. So studying in an environment with people that are going through the exact same stresses as you can work to your advantage, and it can also work to your disadvantage. You can either all stress each other out, or you can all be each other's support system and motivate each other and push each other and hold each other accountable. If you say you're going to study today, then you must study, and you must have someone who's going to say, but you're supposed to be studying today. You can't be complacent. You can't say, okay, yeah, it's only 2 days, or it's only however many days left. I'm sure I'll be fine. You need to sort of fine tune what you know up until this point. You've been doing this since your undergrad, so you know the stuff. The thing now is the exam technique and stuff, and this is the time to practice that and to solidify that. So in this time, I was going through my tutorials that I had done that were marked by the Enjunamu team. I was also going through my mock exams that were marked by the Enjunamu team, making sure that I'm picking up things that they identified that I struggle with. So this time is just fine tuning the stuff that you already know.
All right. And in a few days, just before the exam, so let's just say it's 2 days before the exam, and you feel that there is some stuff that you are not too confident about, what do you do in such an instant? You've tried to cover so much, but just 2 days or a day before the exam, you start to stress because you think there's other things that you've left out. How do you calm yourself down and try to ensure that you focus onto the exam that is ahead?
You breathe. You remember that ITC is made up of 400 marks. And there's no way that that 400 marks will be everything that you don't know. You've passed CTA, so you have the knowledge. It's just pinning down that exam technique. Don't stress too much about things that you don't know, because you haven't even seen the paper. You don't even know what's in there. So now you're stressing yourself out, and you're going to end up missing the things that you already know. You're not going to be able to identify things. You're also not going to be able to think of ways to, if I can say, wing the question, because you're all over the place. I remember it was paper 1, the first paper of our ITC. There was a tax question that just threw me completely off, and I thought, okay, I'm going to put it to the side. I'm going to finish everything else, and then I'm going to come back to it. And I was able to come back to it with enough time, knowing that I've secured the marks for everything that I know. Now I can look at what I don't know. Instead of spending time focusing on what you don't know, you end up forgetting what you actually do know.
Yeah. There's another one that comes from Dombi Futi. She understands that you've got to be calm, but how do you actually do that? Do you drink water? Do you take some few hours away from studying? How do you keep calm? How do you actually keep calm?
So the few days before the exam, how you keep calm, you do the things that you love. If there's a series that you like, sit, watch 1 or 2 episodes of the series, just like try and empty your mind. Yes, I will say drink water. I drink a lot of water.
Yeah, it calms you down. Okay.
Yes, it does. It calms you down, and breathe. Just breathe very deeply, breathe very consciously. Think about the fact that you are breathing. When you're in the exam and you see something that you don't know, there is a bathroom. You can always just stand up, take a walk to the bathroom. As you're taking a walk to the bathroom, just breathe. Just breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Go to the bathroom, wash your hands. Even if you've washed your hands already, it's COVID. Just, you can never wash your hands enough. Wash your hands while the water's flowing. Feel the water on your hand. Breathe. Go back, sit down. Breathe. Say, okay, what do I know? And then you start there.
Yeah.
You just breathe. Calming yourself down is really just about breathing and breathing consciously.
Yes. Just lastly, thank you for that, Natim. Lastly, I was talking with somebody 2 days ago. I've never written an exam before with a mask on. This thing is suffocating me. And how do I ensure that maybe at the time that I write an exam, I'm used to it? What do I need to do? Because we've never written exams before under masks and all these things, and maybe they are affecting us psychologically. What's your advice on that?
So the same with us now with APC. They've advised us to wear our masks more often because we're going to be writing for 8 hours of the day with a mask on, which is something that nobody is used to. So they're asking us to just wear them more often. What I would suggest, I guess, in the ITC case, depending on your study schedule, when I studied, I used to study from 8 until 5, like on a normal work day, 8 to 5, 8 to 5.
Yeah.
So in your study time or in your practice exam time, just wear the mask. You have a week to get used to wearing a mask. Wear a mask every day for 8 hours. It's the only way. You can't force your body to be used to something if you're not going to expose it to it. So you must expose your body to being in this uncomfortable mask for 8 hours. And preferably you should wear the mask that you will be wearing on the day, because they all fit differently and whatever. So wear the one that you'll be wearing on the day, wash it regularly, and just wear your mask for 8 hours. Your body will adjust to the breathing.
Okay. The person that said that says thank you. She's laughing about it. Actually, I'm exposing her, but it's fine. I think it helps a lot. It helps a lot that now she says keep on wearing it during the time so that you can get used to the environment as it will be in an exam bed. Thank you, Unati. I wish you and I can talk more. There's a lot of advices I think we can give to our candidates, but just as we try and wrap up our conversation now, what would be your advice, your word of encouragement for the candidates that will be sitting in for the exams for ITC and also APC that is coming up? I think if we also encourage those that are in APC as well, because they are also writing in December, what will be your word of advice and encouragement for all of us?
I think the biggest thing, again, is to stay calm and to be confident. You need to believe in yourself. You really do need to believe in yourself. You need to know that you've come this far because you have the knowledge. You're not here because you don't know. You're here because you do know. So you just need to practice what it is that the marker wants to see. So now it's not about proving to yourself that you know. You need to know already for yourself that you know. Now you need to prove to the marker that you know. And that's what you need to concentrate on. So you're not writing because you're writing. So that's also why you shouldn't be in a hurry. There has to be a structure, there has to be a plan. You need to build your responses because you need to secure those marks. You need to convince the marker that you know what you're talking about. And in these few days, that's what I would practice, is just convincing the marker that I know what I'm talking about. Formulate your responses clearly, formulate your responses in a structured manner. It's really all about believing in yourself, having the confidence that you need to put your mind to paper, because that's all the marker's going to have of your brain. They're not going to know what you know from articles. They're only going to know what you've put down on that paper. That paper is going to go and represent you. So believe in yourself and believe that you have the ability to put your best self on that paper.
Wow. Thank you, Nati. Thank you, Nati, because I can feel encouraged and motivated for everyone, and also getting confident in really preparing much, so that in the next couple of weeks, I go and write, we go and write and pass these exams. Thank you very much for having shared your wisdom and your experience with us. And we've learned a lot from you. I just want to appreciate your presence and having taken your time joining us tonight.
Thank you, Sizwe, for having me. And thank you to everybody for taking time out on a Friday to listen to me talk a lot. I wish everybody well. I wish everybody well, and I wish them the best of luck, best of successes for their exams. Go and prove to yourself that you can, because I believe that you can.
All right. High five. There you go. All right. Thank you, everyone. This was our last session for the year 2020. We are just going to have plenty of more coming in the following year. Thank you very much for having joined us throughout the course of the program. And let's keep it on and stay motivated. Good luck, enjoy your exams, and also as you prepare. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great night.